Hi, it's Bill, the knee pain guru. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to increase range of motion and break down scar tissue in the knee. We'll be answering questions here shortly. So if you do have any of them on scar tissue, knee pain, diagnosis, doctors, physical therapists, whatever it is, please put those in the comment section over on the side, and I will address those shortly. The questions that you ask give me topics for future videos, so please ask those questions. It's very helpful for both you and me in terms of future content to talk about. Make sure you like the video, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel, as well as turn on notifications so you know of future videos. I do these twice a week, one on Mondays and one on Thursdays at 9:55 a.m. Eastern Time. So now we're going to get into the video, how to increase the range of motion and break down scar tissue in the knee joint. And it's important that we establish some definitions first. It's a new area. Everything that I'm sharing is not what you'll find when you talk to doctors or physical therapists. And you have there's an anatomical range of motion, and what I'm going to be talking about today is a comfortable range of motion. So there's two drastically different ranges of motion that we look at in the knee joint. So in order to understand how to increase the range of motion and break down the scar tissue, we have to understand a distinction in what is the anatomical range of motion in the joint and what is the comfortable range of motion. So the anatomical range of motion is going to be what the joint is physically capable of, meaning the knee is supposed to be able to fully extend and fully bend. That is the anatomical range of motion. The comfortable range of motion lies within the anatomical range of motion. So you've had injury, accident, surgery, trauma, something has happened to your knee where it's building up scar tissue. And that scar tissue is there for a reason. And it limits the anatomical range of motion. So now the knee joint is supposed to be able to completely straighten and completely bend. Now you may not be able to straighten it completely, and you may not be able to bend it completely. So the anatomical range of motion still exists. You're just not able to access it because anytime outside of that comfortable range of motion, which I'm going to get to in just a moment, it creates pain. It limits the ability of the joint to bend and extend. So there is a drastic difference between the anatomical range of motion and the comfortable range of motion, which is contained inside of the anatomical range of motion. It's very important in everything that I'm going to share going forward with the understanding of those definitions and the distinctions of those definitions in order to increase the range of motion and break down the scar tissue in your knee. So the conventional approach, doctors, physical therapists, their whole idea is we need to increase the range of motion by pushing through the pain, strengthening the legs. And what this is going to do is they hope it's going to break down the scar tissue. And it does to some degree, but it's very painful. And a lot of times you're limping for days afterwards. And there's also this place where the body will go back into the range of motion that it was dealing with before they put you through all that pain. So that's a conventional approach. They are taking your comfortable range of motion and pushing you out of that comfortable range of motion to try to access the anatomical range of motion that causes pain. So, which is why everybody's here on the video. So we're going to go to my approach, like how I look at the knee, how I look at the body in terms of the comfortable range of motion and what we could begin doing to access more and more of the anatomical range of motion that your body is capable of. So first, what we would do, you have a limited range of motion in the joint. The joint stops. It isn't able to fully extend or fully bend. And what we begin doing is creating focused and intentional comfort in the knee joint. Now, this isn't like when we're sitting on the couch and the knee is propped up. This is focused and intentional comfort in the range of motion that is still comfortable in the joint. What this does in that comfortable range of motion with this focused and intentional comfort that we're creating, this causes the joint to relax. It's already in pain. The limited range of motion is limited. So when we cause the joint to relax, it creates more space in the joint. And it immediately increases the comfortable range of motion. Think about this. Neurologically, what's going on in your knee is your body's tensing up to protect itself. It doesn't feel safe, supported, or listened to. It's been through the ringer. It's been through trauma. So the knee tenses up. That tension sends a signal to the body that says, build scar tissue. We don't want to go outside of the comfortable range of motion. So when we create comfort with focused intent, the joint relaxes and the range of motion begins to increase. And now the natural increased comfortable range of motion begins to break down the scar tissue. So it's like we're taking the cart and the horse and we're switching it because it's how the body works. Whenever you force the knee, like the conventional approach, when you force the knee to break down scar tissue, you're in opposition with what the body is doing. It's building scar tissue for a reason. It doesn't just build scar tissue for the sake of building scar tissue. And when we look at the underlying reason that the body is tensing up for the experience that you went through, the more we relax the tension in the joint, the more the comfortable range of motion increases, the more your knee joint can move, which is going to break down the scar tissue and make it easier for you to move. It's kind of a gimme. So that is the approach. That is how I've had the understanding over the past 21 years. I dislocated my left knee 4 times, had ACL reconstruction in my left knee, had 2 pieces of meniscus taken out. I was dealing with all of those things, pain, swelling, scar tissue, all of those pieces. And of course, I did everything the docs and the physical therapist said to do. However, still having issues. So when I found this understanding of creating focused and intentional comfort in the knee joint, working with the intrinsic movement of the joint, what ended up happening is the range of motion began to increase. Now I can fully sit on my heels and I can fully extend the leg. No issues, no problem. Now, this doesn't mean we don't want to strengthen the legs. Going back to the conventional approach, we absolutely want to strengthen the legs. Strong legs are an essential part of you feeling healthy, of you feeling youthful, of you feeling like your quality of life is still there. So we want to strengthen the legs. But we just want to do this in a specific order. And if we're pushing through the pain and causing you, I've had clients that I've worked with that are actually in tears because the pain was so bad in physical therapy, because they're trying to increase the range of motion to break down the scar tissue by pushing through the pain. It doesn't necessarily work. Anyhow, so that is my presentation. If you would like some, like your next step, like what do I do? How do I learn how to create comfort in my knee, Bill? Got it. Head over to my website. I have a 7-day knee pain reduction challenge. I teach you for 7 days how to begin to create comfort in your knee, to relax the tension in the joint, to increase the range of motion. And if it's great, if it works, I have plenty more behind it. And if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. You go your way, I go mine. So that, put that website up here. If you have questions, please enter those in on the side over here, and I will address those questions. And if not, we will move along with our day, and I will see you on the next video. So we've had 10 minutes to enter any questions or anything. I don't see anything presenting themselves, and that's completely fine. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it very much that you watched the video. Once again, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel, as well as turn on notifications for future videos. I do them on Mondays and Thursdays. This is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru, going to sign off for today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.